हेलो एवरीवन, जय हिंद एंड वेलकम टू द प्लेटफॉर्म ऑफ श्रीराम्स IAS। आप सभी का स्वागत है श्रीराम्स IAS के प्लेटफॉर्म पर। एंड इन टुडेज सेशन विल बी टॉकिंग अबाउट द UPSC पर्सनालिटी टेस्ट एंड फॉर द इंटरव्यू सक्सेस द टॉपिक फॉर टुडेज डिस्कशन विल बी द बॉडी लैंग्वेज। आपने बहुत बार सुना होगा, कई बार आपने ये बात सुनी होगी कि इंटरव्यू में योर इंटरव्यू डिपेंड्स अपॉन योर बॉडी लैंग्वेज, बट एट द सेम टाइम यहाँ पर मैं बात करूंगा कि व्हाट इज this body language और साथ ही साथ how you can master this body language for your upcoming UPSC personality test or your interview that you are going to attend. First of all, congratulations to all of you who have qualified the mains 2025, and now you should be preparing for your interview that will be held at UPSC Dholpur House. Alright, and ultimately let me tell you about myself also so that you can build a rapport with me, and then we'll be moving ahead. My name is Bhavar Singh Suroi. I'm ex-NDA 115th course, and साथ ही साथ I have qualified civil services in 2012, and I have been mentoring and guiding the students and aspirants for the previous more than 12 years. Now coming back to mastering the body language, how you can master it, and साथ ही साथ आपका इंटरव्यू में body language क्यों आपका मैटर करता है उसके बारे में बात करते हैं. Now when it comes to the personality test, it is not the test of your knowledge as the name of the test suggests. ठीक है, name of the test is itself personality test. So it is not about what you know. Alright, it is not about what you know, but it is to evaluate that who you are actually. और साथ ही साथ अगर मैं बात करूं तो जब हम बात करते हैं when we talk about the body language, so the body language is or it tells about who you are without even speaking a single word. Alright, बिना एक word बोले आपको पता चल जाता है किसी के भी बारे में. Alright, and in general terms we call it vibes. है ना, होता है ना कि उससे बात करने का मन नहीं कर रहा बिकॉज उससे अच्छी वाइब्स नहीं आ रही. अच्छी वाइब्स किससे आती हैं? अच्छी वाइब्स उससे आती है जिसकी बॉडी लैंग्वेज बिल्कुल प्रॉपर होती है, जिसकी बॉडी लैंग्वेज अच्छी होती है. ये हम आज के नॉर्मल मतलब बोलचाल की भाषा में मैं आपसे बात कर रहा हूं. द वाइब्स आर ऑल अबाउट द बॉडी लैंग्वेज. The good body language will attract people towards you. At the same time, if you are slouching or if you do not have a very good body language, so ultimately people will not be interested in speaking to you. And that is why body language matters much when it comes to the personality test. देखो, एक बहुत सिंपल सी चीज है. बॉडी लैंग्वेज से हम क्या समझते हैं? बॉडी लैंग्वेज से जनरली हम समझते हैं कि पोस्चर आपका, यू शुड हैव अ स्माइलिंग फेस, बट एक्चुअली द बॉडी लैंग्वेज इज मच मोर देन दैट. बॉडी लैंग्वेज इज योर नॉन वर्बल पावर, जहां पर आप बिना कुछ बोले अपने बारे में बहुत कुछ कह देते हैं. आपका कॉन्फिडेंस, आपकी ऑनेस्टी, आपकी इंटीग्रिटी, एवरीथिंग इज रिवील्ड थ्रू योर बॉडी लैंग्वेज. इट अनवील्स योर माइंडसेट, इट अनवील्स योर स्टेबिलिटी एंड ऑल्सो योर ऑथेंटिसिटी इन फ्रंट ऑफ द पीपल. आई एम नॉट टॉकिंग अबाउट द बोर्ड राइट नाउ, ठीक है, लेकिन एक नॉर्मल वे में भी आप जब जाते हैं, आप जब चलते हैं, आप जब बैठते हैं, आप लोगों से बात करते हैं, और जो आपका तरीका है, ठीक है, हाउ यू आर यूजिंग योर हैंड्स, ठीक है, क्या हैंड जेस्चर्स आप यूज कर रहे हो, हाउ यू आर वॉकिंग, ठीक है, वेदर यू आर स्लाउचिंग और नॉट, ठीक है, या फिर आप यू आर लीनिंग बैक ऑन योर चेयर. सो एवरीथिंग दैट यू डू दैट पोर्ट्रेज योर पर्सनैलिटी. वो आपकी पर्सनैलिटी को पोर्ट्रे करता है, एंड दैट इज टेकन केयर और दैट इज सीन by the board members as well. So that is why this matters more, because your body language will show how you behave under pressure. Alright, जो calmness है वो आप maintain रख पाते हो या नहीं रख पाते हो, because ultimately you will be in a job that will be a job not without pressure. There will be pressure from both the ends. Alright, there will be a public pressure as well, there will be a pressure from the government as well. Alright, and you have to maintain a balance, and then you have to work. And if you cannot maintain calmness under pressure, why should the board select you? So you have to understand whatever the board is doing, whatever the board members is doing, that is to check whether you are suitable for the administrative capability or not. At the same time, they check for the emotional stability as well. Alright, that is again a quite requirement for the administrative capacity, as well as they check your administrative composure. All right, how you will behave in certain administrative the case studies, or there would be kind of situations that will be put to you, and they will see whether you remain composed in the administrative way or not, and the humility and respect and even authenticity. And this all is seen just by looking at you. And when I say looking at you, all right, the magic starts and magic ends within seconds. Now, it is always said that the first impression should be the best impression. All right. And over here, you are thinking, my first impression, मेरा first impression क्या होगा बोर्ड के सामने? When I'll be telling them about myself. All right. So I must prepare my introduction well. है ना? यही सोच रहे होगे आप कि मेरा इंट्रोडक्शन बहुत अच्छा होना चाहिए. लेकिन मैं आपको बता दूं कि बेटा जो फर्स्ट इंप्रेशन होता है वो तो आपके बोलने से पहले शुरू हो चुका है, एंड दैट इज and within matters of seconds. All right, when you enter the board, conference room where your interview will be held, तो जैसे ही आप दरवाजे से अंदर आते हैं, आप सबसे पहले दरवाजा खोलते हैं, you ask for the permission whether may I come in or not, and then when you enter inside, the way you are walking, फिर उसके बाद when you go and you stand just beside the chair and you greet the board members, ठीक है, how you are greeting them. And ultimately when you sit, how you are sitting in the chair, ये कुछ matters of seconds में होता है. This is just matters of seconds and this gives your first impression. ठीक है, चाहे वो आपका entry है, your posture and gait is observed when you are entering into the conference room. ठीक है, उसके बाद फिर then next is your greeting, how you are greeting the board members, your comfort level is assessed, and at the same time when you are sitting, so how you are sitting, you're confident or you are nervous. So that is seen within a matter of seconds, and ultimately that is why your body language is your first impression. It is not your introduction. It is not your DAF. DAF पढ़ के वो आपके लिए बड़े वो नहीं हो जाएंगे, अरे ये तो बहुत अच्छा बच्चा है ना, इसने तो बहुत कुछ किया है, he have achieved something. नहीं, your first impression will be not DAF, not your introduction, but your body language. Now, over here you will say कि sir, nervousness को मतलब कैसे हम hide कर सकते हैं या नहीं कर सकते हैं. So I'll tell you that nervousness is quite normal and even the board knows it. ठीक है, जब आप बैठे होते हैं वेटिंग हॉल में, you are sitting in a waiting hall and over there when you are there in the waiting hall, तो दिमाग में बहुत सारी चीजें चलती हैं. You must be thinking, पता नहीं क्या क्वेश्चन पूछा जाएगा, मेरे DF में क्या है, whether I have all the एजुकेशनल सर्टिफिकेट्स और नॉट, मैं सारे सर्टिफिकेट्स लेकर आया हूं या नहीं लेकर आया हूं, बहुत सारी चीजें माइंड में ऐसे चलती रहेंगी आपके. बट एट द सेम टाइम लेट मी टेल यू, यू कैन नॉट ओवरकम दैट नर्वसनेस, बट वी कैन मिनिमाइज इट. अब उसको मिनिमाइज करने का तरीका क्या है वो भी मैं आपको बताता हूं, एंड दैट इज क्वाइट सिंपल. व्हेन यू विल बी सिटिंग इन द वेटिंग हॉल, ठीक है, वहां पर हैव कन्वर्सेशन विद द फेलो कैंडिडेट्स हु वुड हैव कम टू गिव द इंटरव्यू अलॉन्ग विद यू. ठीक है, दोस्त बनाओ, वहां पर अपना बातें करो. जब आप बातें करते हो, उनके बारे में जानते हो, अपने बारे में बताते हो, तो व्हाट हैपेंस इज दैट योर माइंड ड्रिफ्ट्स फ्रॉम द थॉट्स ऑफ द अपकमिंग इंटरव्यू. ऑलराइट, एट द सेम टाइम अगर ऐसा नहीं है तो वहां पर देयर वुड बी मैगजीन्स दैट वुड बी देयर. जस्ट रीड सम आर्टिकल ओवर देयर. Alright, while you are sitting, instead of thinking about what will happen in the future or what will happen, when you are there in the interview. So instead of thinking about that future, you should be in the present. And if you are in present, so ultimately you will be able to manage that nervousness. लेकिन साथ ही साथ before knocking at the door, you will feel this. You will feel this exactly the same way that you will feel that your heart may come out of the rib cage. ठीक है, जब पाउंडिंग होगी वो बहुत ज्यादा होगी, तो इसलिए मैं आपको कह रहा हूं कि even the board knows that you would be nervous. The board knows this truth. All right, so the board does not penalize for the initial nervousness, but what they are looking for, that after certain period of time, not like half an hour, but after the initial few moments, whether you normalize and you stabilize or not. All right, so that is important, that you after a few minutes you normalize and then you do not be nervous at that point of time. Now, what is punished or what is penalized when we are talking about the nervousness? So over here, if you are pretending and even if you are acting or you are overconfident, so that would be, or that is what the board observes, and again you will be penalized. And penalized in what sense? There would be marks that will be cut from your personality test, marks that will be there. Now, let's talk about the body language, which all things that you have to keep in mind and what all you have to do. The first important thing is your posture. All right, the posture should be always upright, all right, and it should be relaxed. When I'm talking about relaxed, it should not be that you must be, sitting in the chair and you must be relaxing like sitting on an armchair. No. When I'm saying relaxed, relaxed means that your shoulders should not be tensed. What happens is that whenever we are nervous or we are tensed, so we have, or we do like this. We get tensed. What will happen? All right. So your shoulders should be relaxed. You should not be relaxed although. All right. At the same time, the posture should be straight. The back should be straight, but at the same time, it should not be rigid as well. Your feet should be on the ground. All right. Your feet should be on the ground and you should not cross your legs while you are sitting in the chair. All right. You should keep your legs straight and also the body must be balanced. Now over here, one thing that you have to remember is that when it comes to your position of the legs should make about, like over here we have a chair, the legs should make about 90-degree angle. They should not be above, or they should not be ahead, or they should not be behind. They should make about right angle, not exactly right angle, all right, but it should be about right angle that should be there. And along with this, what you have to remember is that the space between your knees. Now the space between your knees must not be too wide or too narrow. All right, you should not keep your knees stick together. It should not be too narrow, and at the same time it should not be too wide. So what is the gap that should be between knees, both the knees? So it should be proportionate to your shoulder width. What your shoulder width is, that should be there. And please practice this. Practice this at your home as well. And keep your natural balance. Do not be stiff or do not slouch on the chair. So the balanced posture that reflects that you are a balanced personality, and that is why posture matters. But what are the mistakes that you may commit? When I talk about mistakes, so what different mistakes that we can commit when it comes to the posture? The first thing is leaning back. That shows that you are arrogant or you are overconfident. So do not lean back. Keep your back straight. All right. At the same time, do not lean forward. It indicates insecurity as well as anxiety. And also do not slouch, because that shows that you are not interested or you are disinterested, and also shows that you are low on alertness. And also do not be overly rigid, because that seems that you had been coached or over coached and it is unnatural. So you have to sit straight, but at the same time not too rigid when it comes to the posture. The next thing is the eye contact. When it comes to the eye contact, it is very, very important, because when you maintain that eye contact, all right, so maintaining that eye contact shows that you are listening properly, you are an active listener, and ultimately whenever you are making the eye contact, it should be natural and relaxed gaze, and you should focus on the member that is asking the question. However, you should not stare. All right, you should focus, you should see the board member, you should nod in between, so that the board member can comprehend that you are getting what is being told to you. All right, the question that has been asked or anything that has been told to you, you are getting it. But at the same time, you can have brief glances to the other members as well. You should not stare directly at him or her. All right, so focus on the member who is asking the question, but at the same time, brief glances should be to the others occasionally. There should be no staring or no avoidance as well. So you have to remember that this eye contact, it builds trust and shows the confidence that you have. So the second element is the eye contact. Over here, what are the mistakes that we do when we make the eye contact? The first one is shifting of the eyes. All right. So that shows dishonesty. Do not shift your eyes very frequently. All right. Just be focused on the board member who have asked the question, even if you are answering it. And then briefly you have glanced them, and then again you have, your focus is on that board member. And again you have, after a few moments, you have explained it, then you have seen to the others, and then again you are focused upon the board member who have asked the question. So that is what is important. And then intense staring should not be there, because that shows or that is uncomfortable and also aggressive. All right, so that should not be there. Then looking down or looking up. I've seen students, aspirants, when they are answering the questions, what happens is they either look upwards, stare the roof, or they look downwards while answering or while saying something. Now, when you are looking up or you are looking down, that shows that you do not have the confidence. All right, and it also shows that you have rehearsed the answers. So therefore, you have to make or maintain a proper eye contact level to level, and also you should not ignore other panel members. All right, you should not ignore other panel members. You should briefly shift your glance towards them and then answer or listen to the board member who have asked the questions from you. The next element is the hand gestures. We use hand gestures for explaining things, certain things. Now, there have to be a gentle control. All right, when you are using the hand gestures, your hand gestures must be in gentle control. The movement should be deliberate and measurable as well. Also, the position of the hands, that should be on your thighs. All right, when you are sitting, it should be on your thighs. But when you are using the hand gestures, use it, and then again, your hand should come back to the same position. All right. Also, the gestures, they will support your words and they will add sincerity. But at the same time, do not use too much of gestures. All right. I use gestures. You must have seen me in the videos and you may be wondering, sir uses so much of gestures, why we cannot use it? I use so much of gestures because I am standing in front of camera and I do not have you in front of me physically. So over here, I use these gestures so that you can see me, and by my hand gestures I may be clear about what all things that I am telling you over here. But at the same time, when you are face to face, you use very limited or no gestures at all when you are there in the interview board, and also let the hands move authentically and within your limits. That is important, and within your thoughts as well. So that is important when it comes to the hand gestures. At the same time, remember, there should not be excessive arm movements. All right, you should not throw your arms wild. The wild gestures they will distract you from the messages that you are giving or the answer that you are giving in front of the board. So there should not be excessive arm movements. The arm movements, the first thing is they should not move beyond. And the another thing is that you should not use hand gestures too frequently. All right. Another thing is that there should be no dramatic gestures. All right. Like for example, if a question has been asked to you, and sometimes what happens is that the board, they give you some surprising elements as well. And you suddenly, oh, this happened? Now this is showing what? What this is showing? This is showing that this has been rehearsed and ultimately that will be caught. So that is what you have to keep in mind, that dramatic gestures should not be used. Do not touch your face. All right. People have the habit of touching their face. All right. Moving hands over here, all right, over here, or touching the face while they are in the interview. Now, this shows that you are nervous. So do not touch your face when you are facing the interview board. At the same time, there should be no fidgeting. If you are carrying a pen, all right, so what happens is that we fidget with the pen. All right, at the same time, if there is no pen, your hands are like this, so you will be like this. All right, you will be doing this. So do not fidget with your hands. That is very, very important, because that playing with pen, playing with clothes or the chair, that will show anxiety to the board members. The next thing is the facial expressions. Your facial expression should be calm and natural. You should be relaxed. There should be relaxed expression throughout the interview. Now, why I am telling you this is, what happens in the interview is that you will be grilled. You will be put under the pressure. There would be lots of pressure. There would be, cross questions. Just as you have finished answering, or even if you have not finished answering, there would be another question that would be asked to you. And there would be several cross questions that will be asked. And the main motive is to put you behind pressure, to see how you manage under pressure. And if at that point of time, you keep a natural and relaxed and calm expression at that point of time, you will excel the interview. All right. At the same time, there have to be a genuine smile. It should be occasional and also with the authentic warmth that you have to remember, and at the same time, it will reflect the sincerity. Alright, whatever the message that you are giving. If I'm saying that I'm talking about something, if I had been asked about, and this was exactly a question that was asked in my interview board. I was asked about my board was, or my interview was in 2013. I qualified in 2012 and then I went for the interview in 2013, and that was the period in 2012, if you may remember, there was Nirbhaya case and there was criminal amendment that was done. Amendment Act was passed in 2013, and I was asked about those different, because I come from, I did my law honors and I come from background of legal studies. So ultimately I was asked about the amendments that had been proposed and that they are there. There were different offences which were added to the offences against women. So I was asked about those offences, and when you are asked about such kind of things, you cannot smile. Alright. So your face, it must portray the message, it must portray the answer that you're giving in the front of board. If you're talking something serious, your face must be serious. You cannot smile at that point of time. You have to remember this. Alright. So that is why facial expressions also matter. Now, over here, there are certain mistakes that you have to avoid. Do not force smiling, because that appears to be insincere and also uncomfortable as well. Alright, do not have blank expression as well, because that will show that there is no engagement from your part, or also it may show that you are nervous as well. Alright, so there have to be occasional smiles. Alright, you can exchange occasional smile, but do not keep smiling and do not force smiling. Alright, there should not be exaggerated expressions as well, or over expression as well, because that will seem unnatural, and ultimately you should not frown under the pressure. Alright, what happens is that whenever you had been grilled over different questions, and there had been cross questions, and ultimately you are feeling like, oh my God, I do not know the answer. What will happen? Oh, I have not done what I was thinking. See, you may have given lots of mock tests before your actual interview. Alright, you must have prepared thorough, but what happens during that 30 to 45 minutes, or maybe, my interview went for about 50 to 1 hour. I do not know, 50 minutes to 1 hour, my interview went on. And, what is actually you must think when you are there in the interview. Yes, initially it would be quite nervous, but as you enter the interview board, alright, as the interview progresses, there would be, initially you will be made comfortable. There would be certain questions which will be asked, like about you, your family, who all are there, where have you studied, and these questions, they are asked basically to get you normalized. Alright, after you have normalized, then there is actual grilling that starts. Alright, so you have to understand that the complete interview process is just like a conversation. Yes, they would be judging you, but at the same time, if you keep certain things in your mind, like I told you about the body language, alright, and even the way you are answering, and you structure your response before answering. You take 2 minutes pauses, 3 minutes pauses, and then you start answering. In that 2 to 3 minutes, you structure your responses and then you answer. That is what is required. But always consider it as a conversation. Alright, because the more authentic you will be, the more chances are that you will score good in your interview. Now, the next thing is the voice and the tone. Now, when it comes to the voice and tone, your voice must be steady as well as clear. It should not be too loud. You should not shout in the interview room. Alright, the board do not like very high-pitched voices. Alright, so you should not shout. Your voice should not be too loud. At the same time, it should not be even too meek that you are not heard by the board members. So you have to maintain a natural tone, a natural and steady, clear tone of your language or of your voice, so that you are heard by the members. At the same time, they do not see you shouting, or they do not hear your words as well. So ultimately, you have to keep your voice steady and clear. Also, you should have a thoughtful space. All right. You should not rush or you should not drag. Now, this is important so that whatever the message, whatever the answer that you are giving in front of the board, that is understood well. And also, you should have a controlled way where in a controlled manner, if you are answering something, that will reflect your composure. And also, there should be warm tone and you should be respectful every time you are speaking something, and you should be genuine as well. So that is what you need to understand. Now, there are certain things that you need to avoid, that is fast speaking, because that will show that you are panicking as well as you are nervous. Also, very slow speech should not be there. That shows that you do not have the confidence, and also aggressive tone, because that will come across as a defensive way of putting up your answers. And also, you should not be over polite, because that will appear to be submissive or even insincere. So that is important. These are the mistakes that you have to avoid. Now, the next thing is the stillness as well as composure. Now, when we are talking about the stillness, the board will observe you carefully under the pressure, how you remain stable. All right, they will be seeing your hand. They will be seeing your hand. Your hand should remain stable. All right, we have seen what happens is under pressure, the hands tremble sometimes. All right, so your hand should be stable. Hand stability will be seen. And if the hands are stable, that shows that you are calm and composed. At the same time, your breathing pattern will be noticed. All right, because when you are having a controlled breath, so ultimately that shows that you are cool and composed. That shows your composure. And also your shoulder, I told you, tension-free shoulders. And when it comes to tension-free shoulders, what is tension-free shoulders? Relaxed shoulders. All right, your shoulders must be relaxed. All right, and also under the counter questions, it will be seen whether you maintain your poise when your thoughts, your views are challenged. So ultimately, you have to know, you have to, think about it. I told you that whenever you are in pressure, so what happens is our body language changes. So, up to a certain level, up to a certain extent, it is okay. But at the same time, you want to show the board that you remain cool, you remain composed even under the pressure. And that is one of the traits that they are looking forward. All right, because they want the person with the administrative, capabilities. And when we talk about the administrative capabilities, it is very important that you stay cool and composed when it comes to the pressure. And that is why the stillness and composure is very, very important. Now, the board tests the composure. How? There would be counter questions which will challenge your responses. Then why should we select you? All right, this is a question that would be asked definitely. Why should we select you? So over here, the board will test your confidence as well as clarity, and they would be challenging your viewpoints, whatever the thing that you will be putting forward in front of the board. So they will challenge your viewpoints and they will gauge your flexibility as well as depth. I will tell you an example about the question that I was asked in the UPSC interview. I am ex-NDA, I told you right in the beginning, and being an ex-NDA, I was in National Defence Academy, and when the board came to know about it, they asked me a very, very, a kind of question that, even I had never thought about it in my life. And they asked that the armed forces still follows the British legacy of naming the regiments, where we have the regiments which are basically named after the caste. All right, we have Jat regiment, we have Maratha regiment. All right, we have, Sikh regiment. So we have these regiment types, and they said that whether or not this promotes the casteism in the armed forces. Now, I was taken back because for me, the armed forces was a dream, all right, that I had from the childhood. And whatever the thing that I put forward in front of the board, I was challenged every time. Every time I was challenged. So ultimately, they will challenge your viewpoint and they will see whether you are flexible and what depth are you carrying. And also, they will observe your reaction under the stress so that they can understand that whether you have the emotional control, you have the emotional stability or not. So therefore, it is very important to remember that even if you are not correct, your composure is that matters during your personality test. Or I can say in another simple words, composure is more than your correctness in answering the questions. Alright, the next thing comes is the openness and honesty. Now, through your body language, your honesty and openness may be seen, and the signs of the honesty are that you are open and relaxed posture. Alright, along with this, natural and flowing gestures, unforced genuine tone and authentic expressions that will show that you are honest. At the same time, if you are bluffing, you will be caught by your body language. Now, for the bluffing, they may see that you have a defensive or closed posture. Along with this, your voice cracks and there is hesitation. Alright, you must have seen whenever a person is bluffing, he is telling lies. So you must have seen that there is, pauses that are there in between. The voice crack, there is hesitation, and also there is nervous fidgeting, and they avoid the eye contact. So ultimately, the openness and honesty is also seen through your body language. So when we see about, or what we say about the body, your body must watch your or match your words. What are the words that you are saying? Your body must portray it. Alright, if you are saying, or if you say that I am confident, alright, so that should be seen by, or that should be reflected in your tone as well as in your posture. At the same time, if you feel or you say that I am calm, so that must be portrayed by your body by no fidgeting or any nervous gestures. Or if you are saying that I value humility, that should be seen by no arrogance and in sitting as well as while you are speaking. Alright, so when it comes to the consistency, that is equal to credibility. When you are sitting in the boardroom, when you are sitting in front of the board members in your interview, it is important that you remain consistent throughout in your body language. Now, when we talk about the worst signals, what are the worst signals that we can give from our body language? Interrupting the board. Alright, do not ever interrupt the board. Excessive smiling or rehearsed gestures, leaning back casually, defensive movements or panicked speech speed. Alright, and at the same time, what could be the best signals? Your calmness, your dignity, respect, poise, natural confidence and listening with intent. So ultimately, when you master the body language, when you understand all the body language, what all thing can go wrong or how you should portray yourself. Alright, ultimately by mastering this body language, you master the interview as well. Alright, what impresses the board instantly? So your composed entry, as you enter, you walk in with measured confidence. Alright, you do not rush or you are not hesitant to enter, so that impresses the board. Along with this, warm greetings, you acknowledge each member with a genuine warmth as well as smile and respect, and there is active listening. You show, or there is gentle nodding that demonstrates that you are active and you are engaging in the conversation with them, and also there are structured response where whenever you are providing with the answers, it is clear. There is a structured response, that is, it has an introduction, it has a body and a conclusion as well. There is a steadiness and even thoughtful pacing while you are answering something, and you have a confident tone where you speak softly, but even softly yet assuredly. So that is again that impresses the board instantly. Alright, what you have to practice before the interview? The first and the foremost thing is the mock interview. Alright, the mock sessions, where there are trusted mentors and there is a complete interview that is conducted in the same manner, in the same kind of situation as you will be appearing in the front of UPSC board members. Now over here, you have to understand that giving mock interviews, जितने भी आप mock interviews दे सकते हैं, give mock interviews because that will boost up your confidence. And along with the confidence, what it will lead to, that there would be a kind of the feedback that will be given to you. A detailed feedback about your body language, about your knowledge, about your knowledge base, about your DF that will be analyzed. So ultimately there are things, your DF will be analyzed, your body language will be seen, your structured responses and the answers will be seen, and then you will be provided a complete feedback. Now on the basis of that feedback, you have to improve. So therefore, mock sessions are important. At SRIRAM's IAS, we are giving you the interview guidance. And for that, what you can follow is, you can register it for it. And it's very simple. You just have to give us a call. The call is, or has to be on this number. let me give you this number. It is 98. I will write over here so that it is visible. 9811 489 and 560. All right, so this is the number. I'll write it with another pen as well because this may not be visible over here. 9811 489 560. All right, so this is the number on which you can call, or alternatively, you can scan the QR code as well to register for the interview guidance that we are offering at the SRIRAM's IAS. Along with the mock sessions, what you can do is, along with mock sessions, you can do mirror practice, because when you are standing in front of mirror, and mirror should not be one where only your face is seen. All right, a full-size mirror. Just keep a full-size mirror where you can see yourself. All right, sit in a chair where you can observe your own body language. All right, and also your posture, your expressions. You can study them and ultimately you can do good. And also you should do a breathing control, breathing exercises, so you do not show haphazard breathing whenever you are under pressure, as well as record yourself. Now we have the option to record ourselves. We have the smartphones. So using the smartphone, you can record yourself and then you can see how you are behaving, how your posture is, how you are, giving the responses, what your pace is while answering the question. So all this you can judge yourself, and also prepare for challenging follow-ups and practice to stay calm even when the situation is not as per you. So these things you have to remember. All right. So these things you can do and you can practice before the interview. Once more, let me tell you that at SRIRAM's IAS, we are giving you the interview guidance, and for this you can register simply by calling us. 9811 489 and 560 is the number, or you can scan the QR code and then you can register for the interview guidance at SRIRAM's IAS. So that would be all. Thank you. Bye-bye. Take care. Jai Hind. Please take care of yourself. And we will see you in the next video where I'll be discussing about the next few facts about your interview programs or the interview guidance. So that would be all. Thank you. Bye-bye. Take care. Jai Hind. We'll meet again in another session. Thank you.